welcome to another song title challenge where the question is, songwriters, how would you write this one? This is an under pressure little fun creative exercise where I spring a title that's sent in by who? You, the climbers. Mm-hmm. And if you have a title, please email them to info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular. There is no S. info@daredevilproduction.com and put song title challenge in the subject line so it gets in the right place. I spring these titles live on Brent on the podcast, and we take about 15 minutes to try to craft up 4 or 5 different conceptual approaches to how you would write the lyrics before we start writing lyrics. I think this is a really good way to make sure that you have the cleverest, coolest approach to even the blandest song titles. Really make it come alive if you spend a little bit of time. This is kind of mimicking what happens in the first 15 minutes of a pro write on Music Row. Is that right, Brent?
Yeah, if somebody throws out, I got this title, I don't know what it means. Oh, yeah. What could that be about? And then you start throwing around ideas.
There you go.
Or even if they got this title and they think they know what it means, and somebody's going to go, well, what about? And you start throwing around ideas.
So this is not a co-write in any way, shape, or form. If you send your song in and we do it on the air, use all of it, use none of it, use some of it. It's completely up to you. Just the only thing you owe us is you got to invite us to the #1 party, right?
That's right.
All right. Are you ready?
Not at all. But when has that ever stopped us?
It doesn't. So this is from climber Nancy Pappas. It's either Pappas or Pappas.
I don't know, but good to see you, Nancy.
The song title is Out of Order.
Out of Order. Okay.
Correct. Out of Order.
Okay. Well, so, of course, I'm a fan of letting the title write the song on a normal basis. So this is definitely a case where you have to do that because all we have right now is the title. We don't have an idea. So out of order. So what do I think of when I think of out of order? You think payphones for some reason. I think of payphones out of order. I think of cash registers, kiosks, and different, mechanical or technological things that are out of order that are not working properly. I think of getting things in out of chronological order. So, for the sake of, and we try to craft these as what's the most kind of commercially relevant kind of way to write these things to give you the best chance of getting somebody's attention in a good way, maybe for an artist to record your song or for the fans to dig it. So that's kind of the lens we're looking through, like kind of what we're aiming for. So out of order, because I wonder if it could be a thing about, it's hard to, the first place I go is a negative place, like, a lost love or a love that's in trouble kind of idea, just because out of order, it means like not working properly. It's not usable, right? It's not functioning the way it should. Right. That's why they put the sign on there, out of order. Don't use this urinal.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
And don't sit on the urinal, or someone did, and that's why it's out of order. So, that's a negative kind of connotation, right? Something's not working the way it should. So I think, well, is there a way to basically talk about our love is out of order? And is it because certain things got out of order, like not in alignment? Like not only it's not working because certain things were done out of the correct order, right? Mm-hmm. Out of order. Like, is there something there? Like, is there a story there? Not just a story, but some truth, right? Not just like, I'm just going to make this thing up because we did this thing out of order and that's why it's not working. The wordplay still has to be true. Like you're looking for a vein of truth in there. Like, okay, if it's something in our love is dysfunctional because we did something out of the proper kind of order of things, then I need to find a vein of truth in that feels like something I can write, not just making up a story to justify a title. You don't want to do that. Nothing's springing to mind immediately. You could go a bigger worldwide thing. This world is out of order. Or, it could be like the old-fashioned country thing. It's like we don't do things out of order. We hold hands, then we kiss, and we say, I love you, then we get married, then we do the nasty. So it ain't nasty at that point. It could be something like that, which is kind of the old-fashioned kind of thing.
I was going to say like the opposite of that, right? Like if you explain that's the order, but we're out of order because we did everything out of order, but it's still positive, right? Like we're still like, I loved you from the first moment I saw you, or whatever, but you make it like real positive, even though we did it all backwards. Like,
well, yeah, it could be, who says that's out of order? Because it seems to be working just fine.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one right there. Who says that's out of order? So who says that's out of order? Because,
Yeah. So it could be, love at first sight before I even know you. Right. So that's not talking about, we fell in the sack together first or whatever. And you got to run that through your own artistic filter. But it's like, I loved you before I even knew your name. But it seems to be working just fine. Who says that's out of order? Right. It seems to be working just fine.
That's right.
It's still kind of a little more innocent kind of way. Or you could kind of, again, run that through your own.
You could do, Okay. So straight up, like, I think everybody has to have like one toxic relationship in their life to understand like what you think you wanted is what you really don't want. And then you redefine your priorities and what really works for you. So mine came from this girl. I totally had a crush on her. She's gorgeous. She worked at the record store in my hometown. I would go in there buying records like I had no business buying, but because I wanted to like be around her, like totally had a big crush on her. And it took me, like, we started dating like right before I went on the road, and it took a few years to untie that knot and get rid of it. So it could be something like that, like, out of order, like it could start with a crush, like you're almost talking about how the things you do just to try to be by her or whatever. And like, and to your point, like, just adding some sort of visual furniture to that of it's, who says it's out of order like this? Because I loved you before I knew your name or before I met you. That could be kind of a cool, clever, fun way where he just still this day just gushing all over, and he didn't end up toxic like me. Like,
right.
Like my relationship.
Yeah, that could be cool. You could do, like I've been writing more Southern gospel and stuff lately too. And that could go in what I mentioned before, like the world is out of order. You could talk about someone doing like, this world's out of order. It's time to put it back in order. Like I need to put God first, and things won't be out of order anymore.
Oh, there you go.
To fall into place. Priorities, right? You're talking about priorities are out of order. That's why it's not working. It's out of order. Why? Because my priorities are out of order. Now, so you can go totally like God thing, gospel, Christian music. You can go there, right? You can also just do more of like a secular version of that, which is more like, like a country version about, this world's freaking out of order. It's not working right. Out of order it can be a pretty powerful phrase because we all know what it means. Like it's not functioning. It's out of order. Why? Yeah. Because, man, we got stuff out of order. Like we, family, we put in work over money over family or fame over that kind of stuff. So it could be more of a country bent to it. Like we're putting things out of priority. So it could go like straight gospel, or it could, aim more like, family and friendship and that kind of character over, fame or fortune, grandpa wisdom kind of thing. If it's out of order, it's because there's something out of order, which would be pretty cool. Right. And so there's shades of that, right? To find your lane for your artist and your artistic filter and where you want to go. Or it could even be more of just a straight up love song. Like we've been taking priority over us, right? It's out of order. Like our priorities are
kind of like,
we need to get back to us. Like we've been letting stuff interfere with us, letting work drag us away and other stuff and our phones and what we need to get stuff back in order. That's why it's out of order. And so it can be just like straight up like a love thing.
Who wrote that? It's like my favorite country song. And I'm having a brain fart on it right now. The opening line is there's a first class ticket on a plane.
Is it Right Where I Need to Be, Gary Allen?
Right Where I Need to Be, Gary Allen.
Yeah, Casey Beathard is one of the writers on that.
Killer song. And that's kind of that same thing, just getting his priorities back in line.
Yeah, there's a first class flight waiting for him, a business trip, and that's right where I need to be. But then he misses the flight on purpose to be with his girl or his wife, because that's really right where he needs to be, because that needs attention. That takes priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a cool way there's a cool way to spin that like that. I was just saying. So
yeah. So it can go straight from just a love song, me and you, stop letting stuff interfere with our relationship, give priority to us. So it's straight up love thing, to like country grandpa wisdom about the world, to like gospel, straight up, God thing. And so again, what you do is when you're looking at these, you're like, okay, who are we writing for? What market are we writing for? What lane are we writing for? Is the artist in the room? Okay, well, where do you want to kind of say this? And you start making those decisions, those creative and business decisions, like what resonates with us the most, and what do we think is most relevant, going to give this song the best chance of being commercially competitive and having a shot. So it may just be like, in today's country market, it may be more the just straight up love. We got to fix this by fixing us kind of thing. Life's out of order because, we've been doing things with the wrong priorities kind of thing. We just need to get back to me and you, baby. You
could make it a comment on society today too, in a cool way, where, two people on a first date and they're both on their phones, like on Facebook or whatever, and how you can kind of bring like a sense of old school chivalry back into a romance in the new age, right? Where, he's got the small of her hand, he's opening the door for her, and she leans across and unlocks the door, even though it's all electric.
It's all electric. You don't have to take your key out of your pocket.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I don't know, like, opening the door, like small of her bag, he walks on the outside of the street, she walks on the inside, like holding hands and paying attention? What are just some gestures? Like you could just do a bunch of different gestures that would make sense, because you know why? The world's out of order, but we're not.
Yeah.
Maybe because we do this.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, because that takes it. Yeah. So much mess up in the world, but the world's out of order, but we aren't.
Yeah, but I don't even care because we're not. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we're going to do things the right way. Like we're going to have our priorities right. We're going to have a lock screen on our phones that says out of order when we're on a date. That reminds me, what order should this be in? What should the priority order be?
That's really funny. I can see the video already for that.
Yeah. So, I think there's a lot of ways you can do that. And so, at first it's like, I'm not sure how interesting that title is or where you go with that. Is it only the negative? And it's funny how much of this we've kind of spun to an ultimately positive song. Yeah. Instead of saying it's out of order. It's not working. Our love isn't working. It's out of order, that sort of thing. There are these other ways to go there and have the song serve a positive service in the world of kind of reminding people what the orders are. Yes.
I know. Okay. So what if you had like a string of, it's like throughout somebody's day, right? So this is modern because it's not like over time or whatever, but it's just like, if you ever had one of those days where just everything went wrong, like no matter what you did, you started out late, like, the dog got sick, you had to clean that up. You're running out the door. You're late. Of course, there's traffic. And then you're behind somebody who's driving 20 miles an hour. And this street's out of order. And the ATM machine was out of order. You needed to pull some cash out. And you can just go through a bunch of different out of orders. And then at the very end, it's like, I met you.
Right.
Right? Like one of those, like you just kind of lead up to that moment where, and you cleverly hook that chorus together so that it's like Mom always said, you can't have the sun without the rain. Like you're trying to justify just what you tell yourself when you get into it. Everything's gonna be okay. Like I just got to calm down and then do that, and then boom, it like happens right at the end of the song, something like that, where it's just one speed bump, one pothole, one car wreck, little fender bender, nothing bad, big bill, tax bill, the washing machine broke,
everything annoying in the world. Yeah,
everything that annoys the crap out of you in the world. And at the end, but then I met you, like, and so it kind of like if you can write the lyrics right to where there was a detour, that the road was out of order, and so I had to go there, and all of a sudden, because of all that crappy stuff that happened, you ended up someplace that you normally wouldn't be, and that's where I met you.
Yeah, and it could be that, if the chorus is kind of, it's out of order, not the way, you think it's supposed to go. It's blah, blah, blah. It's out of order, but that's just how it goes, whatever. Kind of a general. And then the second verse, you're like, and there you are. Like, I didn't think I could have this good of an ending to a bad day. That sort of thing is, or fall in love at first sight before I even know your name. Yeah, that's out of order, not the way you think it'd go.
Yeah, and so maybe it could be attributed to even when it feels out of order, like God has a plan, or the universe is always as it should be, and you just got to go with the flow, and you could spin it that way, even when your day is out of order.
Yeah,
because you never know what's going to happen, right?
No, you don't. Like, it just may be out of order to us, but we don't have the instruction manual.
Yeah.
So I think, Nancy, there are a few things there you can play with. So hopefully help about 15, 16 minutes in. We try to keep these kind of short, but I think we threw out several different ways of looking at it. If nothing else, just going, this just doesn't have to be a falling out of love song or a broken love song. There are other ways you can do it too.
It can definitely be positive. So, Brent, if Nancy wanted to write the song with you, get some coaching on it, or maybe she's got a couple other titles that she kept a little closer to the vest.
Yeah.
If she wants to do the song title challenge with you privately, what would have to happen?
Not a whole lot. Basically, you go to songwritingpro.com/coaching, and you can see my schedule. You can get details. I do song feedbacks where you just basically just email in a song, through after you purchase that, it tells you where to send it. And I listen to it. I give feedback on it, audio feedback, and I email it back to you. And so we don't have to be in the same space, same time working on it. So that's to send in and get it back. Then I also do interactive coaching where, we hop on a Zoom conference, a Skype call, FaceTime, phone, something like that. And man, I have people do basically private song title challenges. Hey, I got this idea. I'm not sure what to do with it. Or I'm about to take this into a co-write, or I have a workshop, or I have a writing retreat coming up. I just want to get some ideas together and have some stuff to take in. Can I bounce some stuff off you? I'm like, heck yeah, this is fun. And so we'll work on that to kind of prepare your song, or they bring in songs that are already have a draft of, and I help repair them. Find the areas of opportunity to level up the song, maybe some fatal flaws that are in there. We can help cut those out and just make your songs better, or Q&A about the art, the craft, the business of songwriting. We kind of do all that stuff is on the table. So that's at songwritingpro.com/coaching, songwritingpro.com/coaching. And we can meet up. Every once in a while, I'll do an in-person couple sessions in Nashville. And so that's also under that page, under the in-person banner, if you actually just want to sit in the room and feel more comfortable with that than meeting online. But I'm good with either.
All right. So songwritingpro.com/coaching.
That's right.
All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of Song Title Challenge. Nancy Pappas, hope we helped you out there. Hope we gave you a couple new avenues and new twists and turns to think about. That's why we do it. This podcast exists because we want you guys to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.